Danielle Steel Family Ties. Hank had the kids, and I cried myself to sleep. Ted looked upset, but there was no way he could spend Christmas with her. And at least her ex wasn't taking the kids this year. So Ted knew she wouldn't be alone. I will try to come over the day after Christmas or Christmas night. And what about later tonight? Patty asked, dabbing at her eyes. I can't, I told you. We have dinner at home and go to midnight mass. How touching and how unchristian to leave the woman you love sitting at home alone. You will be with Jessica and Justin, he said gently, and I can't do anything about it. My aunt won't understand if I went out tonight. It's our tradition. She made him feel like Scrooge. You sound like you are 12 years old. Betty complained, and then she looked disappointed when he gave her a beautiful white cashmere sweater that had cost him a fortune. She didn't say it to him in words, but the message came across clearly that she had hoped for something like a ring, a promised ring of some kind. She had been talking about it for days, giving him strong hints, but Ted felt it was too soon. They had only been dating for 4 weeks, and as much in love as Betty said they were, it still seemed very new to Ted. There was plenty of time for a ring of some kind later. He was not 36 years old like her. He was only 24, and this was only the second serious relationship he had ever had. The compromise they finally came to was that he would try to drop by for a while on Christmas night, but he had already warned her that he couldn't spend the night, whether her kids were there or not. Betty had been talking about paying Mrs. Pacheco to have them sleep in her apartment if he came by, but he said he would have to go back to Annie's after a few hours. She would be suspicious of what he was up. She would be suspicious of what he was up to if he didn't. Maybe it's time for you to grow up, Betty said unkindly. You fuck like a man, maybe you should act like one too. He was hurt by what she said, and she was looking petulant when he kissed her goodbye and left. She said she would give him his present when he came back on Christmas night, and there was an edge to her voice as she said it. He looked a cab to Annie's, and Katie was already at the apartment when he got there. When she saw him walk in, she looked intently at her brother. Wow, what are you so pissed about? You don't exactly look like the spirit of Christmas. What did you get, Annie? A cashmere shawl and a personalized hard hat. It's real cute. I think she will like it. He hadn't answered his sister's question about why he was angry. He had been upset about Betty and what she had said when he left her, because he couldn't spend Christmas Eve with her. She refused to understand that he just couldn't, and he hated to leave her on a sore note. But she had still been pointing and gave him the cold shoulder when he left. It had seriously upset him, particularly when she had told him to act like a man. I am not pissed, by the way. I just had an argument with one of my roommates before I came here. He's an asshole. Katie didn't say anything to him, but she had the odd feeling something else was bothering him. Annie will love the hard hat, and the shawl sound cool too. She smiled lovingly at her brother. What did you get her? For a minute it felt like being kids again, while they wrapped their gifts for her together. I didn't get her anything, Katie said with a serious expression. You didn't. Ed looked stunned. That wasn't like her. Katie was always generous with them all, despite a limited allowance. But she was always very creative about how she spent it. I made her something, she said, and Ted smiled, thinking back to the old days when he had made Annie a table in wood shop, and Liz had knit Annie a sweater with gigantically long arms, and Annie had worn it on Christmas Day. She had worn their macaroni necklaces too, and everything they gave her.